Hello and welcome. This will be a video about updates for MoonHug editor since version 0.9 to version 0.59. Yeah, this will be a high-level overview, and there were many changes in that period. I would like to start with prefabs. So prefab is what helps a lot when combining assets and then reusing them. And right now I already arrived to some good state that can be used, and even created prefab specification. I think this specification can be used by somebody else if they want to develop this feature into their game engine. So it's basically code agnostic and just a set of terms and rules on how everything behaves. So here we have how revert of override behaves, then how apply behaves, what save means, and so on. And terms are taken from Unity mostly, where I couldn't find a matching term. I invented my own. So here we have host scene, prefab instance record, prefab content and authored content. So prefab content is everything that is within prefab bounds, and authored content is part of the scene we're editing right now. So when we look at let's go into one of the prefabs. So here, this is prefab, and this is authored content. So it's just part of the scene we work on. And these are actually prefab instances, and they are not directly in scene, they just reference something. And when we add some differences, when we modify something, override is created, and this override lives on prefab records, prefab instances records. So if we open the file, we would see this C variant has special override attached to it, and when I press revert, it gets deleted. Undo works for this. And the main features of prefabs are, I think, overrides, variants, and nesting. All of these are present. It's pretty close to what Unity has. We also have this overrides view, where we can pick whichever object. On the left we see prefab source values, and on the right we have the overrides. There might be some small bugs, but everything can be fixed. So if we want to disable revert multiple, we can just select them and press revert selected, and as you see, it's gone. Then we can do the same here, and this now should be close to this. Let's go back. Yeah, it wasn't saved. I don't have confirmation yet. So if I do like select everything, revert, and I can press F to focus. Yeah, so it's a blue blob. And if we go inside, here it is the same. Well, you get the picture. Yeah. So the next big thing that changed was rendering. So raylib dependency is now gone. Now we have SDL3 dependency, and everything renders through it. So separate GFX package was added to editor and engine, and it allows us to have materials and shaders. Okay. Here we can see examples of UVs. This is shader example with lines. We have PBR shader. These models are from Kronos examples. And we also have this example. It's actually an animation. So here we can select another window about animation. It's playable graph. I don't think I will do same mechanism Unity has, but I might do something else. I do not like mechanism. I think the good part of mechanism is that it is data driven, but other parts, I don't know, just gets in the way of making stuff instead of helping. So here, yeah, we have this shader. It's used across two objects. If I select material, I can then select this shader, double click it. Yeah, shader doesn't have a lot of changes. So let's go back to material, double click it. Here I can change the color of the stripe and its quantity, angle. Shader is GLSL code, so I think the GLSL can be reused here. Rendering pipeline is not perfect right now, so it will be improved, but it already works. Yes, so another good feature we have is GLTF export. GLTF. So we have two of them here. One of them is this helmet. I think I never exported it, so I might show. No, it is also exported. No, let's not do it. But I might, so what would happen? Let's try. Extract asset. Yeah, we get a lot of these. And then we have this scene. So scene is a prefab. Okay, if I drop it like this, we get a scene which is already combined. And I see we have here something more fancy than here. Maybe not all textures were exported, or they weren't properly wired. Yeah, we have this material. Let's look inside it. Yeah, this one doesn't use any shader, so let's select PBR. If I select PBR, I then can fill those. I do not want to do this. Well, experience is much better for this object because it doesn't have textures. So if I select this GLTF and press export, we get all of these files, and then I can drop, let's delete this one. Then I can drop scene, and everything is wired. So we have here animation that creates playable graph, and we have the nodes. There we have mesh filter, mesh renderer, references material, and this material, let's look into it. It has no custom shader, but it has something, at least color, and that's how it is. Okay, I'll delete it. Yeah, next improvements are related to the scene. So here gizmos were added and scene overlays. They are aware of horizontal and vertical position, so they can draw itself differently. It's actually just a procedure in code with attribute attached to it, and that draws IMGUI. So it should be pretty simple to extend. And these panels, they are also example on how editor can be expanded. Same goes for menu items. All of these menu items are using just attribute on top of procedure. I reorganized menu to be closer to Unity. And in here, I think fly through is much better than it was before. I think speed can be improved. I think it should be improved. So I am using scroll, but it doesn't show yet. And that's all for this scene view improvement. So the huge thing that I'm really proud of is plugins. And why I like it so much, because now editor can grow not only vertically but also horizontally. So here, if we look into packages folder, we have this app, which was everything in here previously in assets. Now it's in the app. We have special folders here, so I will go into detail. Let me select plugins. Yeah, plugin is a package folder inside MoonHug packages folder. It's just a plain Odin package with code, but also it has some special folders. Here we have mentioned about that app is also a plugin. So if you don't like it, you can remove it and everything will still work. You can put your own app or game as a plugin and it will also work. Here, the super important is folder structure. So we have this MoonHug packages folder, which holds other packages, which are also plugins. Those plugins have code in it, Odin code. Then we have special folders. Editor folder is for code that will be used in editor but will not be compiled into application itself. Assets is place for materials. Unlike Unity, here we do not put any scripts into assets folder. I don't think there is any reason for them to be there. Okay, so samples is just a place for other plugins, but these plugins are ignored, so no code is used when they are here, and when we need them we can use editor's UI to install them. Then we have tests. Tests is used by tests runtime. Run tests. It not only will run the tests for the editor, it will also run plugin tests. Yeah, I have one failed. I will look into it later. All of these folders are optional, so you may have or not have them. Run configurations are just Odin like instructions to run something. So they are run like a separate package. So this is separate package and this is separate package. Let's look into them for physics 2D. So let me go into packages, physics 2D. We do not have run configs here, so let's go to physics example. Run configs. We have only one here. Let's look at it. So it's called package run, same as file. And then it just uses run config pop package and its procedure to build and run. And there we pass some arguments such as where package is located and where we want to place build. But it's just an Odin procedure, so any code can be done in here. Why I didn't use other build system or just shell script? So shell scripts are operating system dependent, so I didn't want them. And build systems are usually very complicated, and since we already depend on Odin, I decided to use it like this. I think it's possible to build a separate build system if you like it, but it also can be done like this. So here, if I find maybe up, it has multiple run configurations. Yeah, so one of them is using debug, and another one is much simpler, it doesn't use debug. For the samples, let's look into the MoonHug. So here we have physics 2D. Yeah, so I wanted to not only add plugin but also give a good example of it. So here we have physics 2D and physics 3D packages already. We have samples here, so if I select package, then I can install it, and it can be installed by symlinking or copying. Copy is just to view the sample without modifying the original sample, and symlink is useful when you develop a sample, so it remains in the same place, but all your changes are propagated to the same file. So here I press symlink, it created a link, this icon. Here I can select the scene. Run configuration was added. Now if I run it, yay, box 2D. Okay, now let's look at physics 3D example. Same pattern, press symlink, open scene, select configuration, run. Yeah, box 3D. Yeah, same thing. So these plugins, they also provide some components inside them, such as rigid body and colliders. And if we press add component, we can add them here. More work should be done for them. Right now, these are just examples, but they all already work. Yes, and this is probably all for this high-level overview. Lots of things were added and changed. I'd like to point out that how flexible and extensible the editor is. So you can drop any Odin package inside this packages folder and it becomes plugin. Plugins use attributes, and editor itself is full of regular procedures that use attributes, and some attributes add menu items, other scene overlays, other parts are components, and all of this fills the editor, and you can make something of it, hopefully something useful. And that's all. Thank you. Bye.